Good evening. Glad you could join us today. And today we're going to be staining some printer paper with coffee. So I've got a little selection of paper and a nice tray big enough for a A4 sheet of paper. And I'll just put some water in because pure coffee would use a lot of coffee. So I'm going to dilute it with some water. I figured I'd knock up a mocha pot of coffee for this and use the entire pot. Once the coffee was prepared, I allowed it to cool and poured it into the tray of water. And then go the paper sheets. Now, I put them in one at a time because if you put the whole slab of paper in, then you'll form air bubbles and certain areas of paper won't get any colour. And if that's what you want, then fine. Just chuck the whole slab of paper in and leave it to soak for a while. But that's not what I wanted. I wanted a fairly even tone all over the paper. So I put them in one at a time. And now the fun part. Take out a sheet, drain off the excess, try and drip as much of it as you can back into the tray, and then stick it to the fridge. Yep, that's right, stick it on the fridge door, and when it's dry it will drop off all by itself when it's ready. So you just keep sticking your sheets to the fridge. You might have to move your kids' drawings and your fridge magnet from Malta in 2002. Drain off the excess. Stick on the fridge. Get the fan blowing. And whoop, when they're ready, they drop. I stack them all up. As they fall, stack them up. Now they're still quite fragile, even when they've just fallen off. They're still quite wet. So once they've had a day or so out to dry, I literally peg them on the line. So once they'd all dried, I could stack them all up. And while I'd left them to dry by the window, my bright wisdom, I had decided to put a round coffee tamper to weigh them down to stop them blowing out of the window while they were drying, and that resulted in a circle on virtually every single sheet coming out in the stain. So we'll be doing that again. That was a silly idea. So now fold each sheet in half. Try to be accurate. So there's the circle. It's quite prominent on some sheets, but I'm just going to live with it, see what happens. Go with the flow. crease them down using a plastic bone folder, which should just be called a plastic folder in my opinion. Then you probably wouldn't know what to look for. After folding them right-handed for a while, I decided that it would probably be easier just to fold them the other way, and then the bone folder is on the correct side of the crease. So I did this many times until all the sheets were folded. Some of the sheets are torn on the corners and edges. When the paper is very wet, that is just a hazard. It just does tear very easily. To stack them all up, you can see the circle coming through on some of the sheets. Quite pleased with the tone and the colour. I'd already done the same with a stack that I'd done with this stack, which I'd done with tea, with exactly the same procedure. And I think the tea ones actually took more stain than the coffee, surprisingly. So now to put them in the press for a while now they're nice and dry. Last time we used the press, we put in our marbled sheets, which have been in there for days now, and they've come out pretty nicely flattened. And you can see how good they came out. I'm very pleased with those few. But for now we're going to use the press to put in our coffee stained papers. As they're folded, they can fit in the smaller boards. And then wind the handle down. And compress the pages nicely. We'll leave them there until they're needed. So, thank you for joining me, and if you like the video, please hit like, and if you think I earned it, please subscribe. And on with the next.